I will show you how I made this stylized oak without confusing you with anatomical terms like cranium, zygomatic arch, whatever. You're an artist, you're not a doctor. I will explain every step, every stroke, and I will also tell you how I read this reference, and this will be very helpful for you. Before we start, I would like to invite you to join my 1 month free sculpting challenge, which is linked in the description. Now, you need to realize that the reason you're struggling with one tutorial after another, one course after another, is because none of them help you tackle the base, which is the most important thing. You have a flimsy base and you're trying to build on top of it. Of course, it's gonna collapse. This course will teach you everything step by step without confusing you with anatomy or sternocleidomastoid, anything. I won't confuse you, bro. And you can see the results that the participants have gotten in as little as 20, 11, 14 days. So if you do this, it will set you up for this tutorial and it will set you up for any further tutorial that you're going to watch, because this was my biggest struggle as well, and this is my effort to make it easy. With that said, let's start with this tutorial. Let me just pin my reference on the other monitor as well. And yeah, we will be sculpting this oak like I showed you already. And this is a good reference because we have the front, we have the third quarter, we have the side. Now, having more references of different oaks is a bad idea. What's good is that I have multiple angles of the same concept. So this is good. Okay, where's my graphic tablet pen? Okay, found it. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to switch between graphic tablet and mouse continuously. I mean, these are the things I have to do for the tutorial. So let's dive into it. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable symmetry. I'm going to go to the front view. And what is a good idea to do first and foremost is to observe your reference. So you can see that this does not follow the generic proportions. The generic proportions, we know that it's the eyes are halfway, the nose is halfway between the eyebrows and the chin, but in this case it does not. I can see that the eyes are in the upper 1/3, and this is very common in stylized sculpts. Okay, the first thing you want to do in any stylized sculpt is to study the reference first. I can see that the eyes are almost in the upper 1/3, and then just a bit below is the nose. Then from the nose to the chin in the center is the lower mouth. Okay, so these are some proportions that I'm taking into account. I can see from the side that this angle of the jaw is insane and there's too much forward projection. Like this oak has been mewing for a while. Right, I can see that. I can see that there are some stylization happening as well on the nose, on the eyebrows. But the main method that we're going to follow, the main approach that we're going to have, is that we're just going to spend a lot more time on the base mesh, on the basics. Then we're going to add a bit more form, and then we're going to stylize it in the end. So first of all, I like to see the front view, and what I'll do is I'll make this sort of shape, like a helmet shape, which is how every head starts, by the way. And I'm going to flatten down the chin. Okay, just using the move brush for now. You see, I'm taking note of this angle and I'm trying to have it in my sculpt as well. I can see this angle of the jaw, which is something that I will try to have over here as well. Just trying to make a rough block out for the shape. I can also see that the face has a taper like this. Let me draw. So you can see this taper from the head up to the jaw, and then a taper down from the jaw to the chin. So that is something that we need to take into account as well. If you know the generic proportions, then you know that the widest area of the head is up here above the ear, but it doesn't matter in this case. In this case, we have a reference, so we'll just throw away our generic proportions and we'll just follow the reference. Okay, that is the point of having a reference. When you have a reference, look at your reference and then sculpt. Look, then sculpt. A common mistake that I did was that I sculpted first and then decided to look at a reference, and it just takes a lot more time to correct your mistakes rather than avoiding them in the first place. Okay, so this is a good starting place. I'm going to look at the side view now. So from the side view, I'm going to note this angle of the jaw. Okay, and I see that it has a lot of forward projection, so I'm going to move it like this as well, trying to match it the best that I can. It's okay if it's not 100%. The goal is not making 100% of what you see. As long as you're in the ballpark, it's completely fine. I can also notice this steep angle on the forehead. Right now it is in the opposite direction, so I'm gonna have it in my sculpt as well. Okay, and you see I'm just looking at the reference, making observations and making conscious moves on my sculpt. Okay, I can see that the skull almost ends here. This angle of the top of the head almost ends here, so that is what I'm doing as well. We'll extrude the nose, the neck from here, so it doesn't really matter. Just trying my best to get a basic shape of the face. I can see that the jaw exceeds almost halfway mark of the face as well, which is also another proportion that we take into account, which is that the jaw is almost halfway. That is where the ear is as well. But in this case, nope. In this case, we'll just follow the reference. So this looks like a good starting point. I'm just gonna even things out a bit. I'm gonna check the jaw from the bottom, because the jaw should be very, very straight. The jaw shouldn't have any wobbliness. It shouldn't curve like this. It should be straight from the chin to the back of the jaw. It should be a straight line. Okay, that is what is going to give you good jaw structure on your corrector as well. So this looks okay. I'm going to remesh. Now, once I remesh, I'm just going to make a circle using the mask tool. I just pressed M for the shortcut. Let me also turn on screencast, which I always forget to do for some reason. So I just made the mask, and I'm going to make a selection for the neck. Okay. Now I'll just move it down like this. I'll pull it down, and you can see this is very thin, but that is all right. Right now we just need something. So I'm going to undo this, remove that extraction, and I'm going to smooth this. Yeah, I think we can bring the neck a bit forward as well, just to make sure that it has this thickness. For now this is fine. And yeah, right now I cannot sculpt because it's stretched, so let's press Ctrl R to remesh once again and to distribute the geometry. Also, using the clay strips brush, I want to fill in this area. Okay, and I don't like how this behaves in the default Blender 4.5, so make sure that you enable size pressure as well. Okay, they changed it in the recent update, but just enable it and it will work with pressure sensitivity, which is how it should be by default. Okay, and yeah, I can see that the neck is way too thick. The common generic proportion is that this thing is almost halfway, but in this case it is way ahead, so we're going to have it in our sculpt as well. Okay, I need to pull this down because I can see that the neck is very long. It's almost a face long, so I'm going to have that. I'm going to mark the back over here as well. Let's pull it like this so it has a natural curvature. Okay, let's see from the side view. So from the side view I can see that this is one almost straight angle, so I'm not gonna have this curve so much. I'm just trying to get a basic block out. Now you want to know that this is the most important stage, so if you have to take your time, this is where you do it, because all of the tails are gonna go on this base. Okay, if the base is shit, no matter how many flowers you put on it, it is still gonna be shit. The same thing goes for your sculpt. If your base of your sculpt is shit, no matter how beautiful you make the eyes, no matter how beautiful you make the nose, it's still gonna look shit because you didn't have things right from the first place. All right, let's move this a bit like this. Let's just even out, and you can see I'm just trying to have a generic shape of a torso. All right, now I can see that the jaw over here, it actually exceeds a bit of the neck, and it also tapers out. So from the front view, I'm gonna make the jaw a bit wider, and also the chin. Now I can see that it's wider as well, so I'm going to make it wider as well. You can see everything right now is low poly, and it's super easy to adjust. If you go high poly early, adjusting these things just becomes way more difficult. Okay, so just make sure that you are happy before you proceed. All right, let's also mark the neck very, very roughly, these neck muscles. Okay, so you can see they almost attach behind the ear. So I'm just going to use the draw brush to roughly mark, and yeah, there's a bit of stretching. Let's remesh so it's equally distributed, just like this. And in the center, I want to dig it in like this and pull out the clavicle here, just very roughly. And yeah, so far so good. I want to dig a bit here, you see here, because I just want a natural shape for the jaw. Right now it's too blended with the model. Let's dig here, separate the jaw a tad bit. That's going to look much better. Okay, you see what I did there? Good. Let's also move in the neck, because you can see it's a straight line down minus curving. So I'll just straighten this with the move brush. And yeah, So far, so good. Yeah, don't skip around, guys. I mean, if you do not get the result that I'm showing you right here, don't move forward. You should be just watch, watch this on 2x if you have to. Just observe for now, right? Yeah, let's make the block out for the ear now. So let's go a bit higher poly, just add a bit more geometry. Let's press, this is too much. Let's dive here. Let me see from the side. Okay, it's almost behind this. So let's mask an area right here. And yeah, you can see that the jaw has a bit of this length. So I'm also making the ear a bit above. Anything that you want to know. Where is the ear? Where is the mouth? Where is the nose? Look at your reference. Just draw these lines. Just study. Okay, wow, the jaw has this much of a distance. So I should also have a bit of a distance here. It doesn't need to be exact, but as long as you're in the ballpark, it will work out. Yeah, if you're struggling, just watch the 30-day head challenge first. It's absolutely free. First link in the description. Because if you don't, you will continue to struggle. You will just waste your time. I'm a YouTuber, bro. I don't mind a view. Give me a view. But I respect your time. And I want you to make the best of it. So don't skip here. If you've already watched it, good. If you've not, go ahead. Do that course first. It's free. Right? Let's just roughly marking the shape of the ear. I can see it's a bit pointed towards the top. Let's smooth it a bit. Yeah, we don't have enough geometry to make it perfect, but we're just going to roughly just block it out in this stage. From the side view, I can see I need to dig it in a bit. Okay, I'm just looking at the shape from the front view. All right, good. Unmask. Now let's mark the eyes. So for the eyes, I'm going to use a draw brush, and I'm just going to roughly mark them for now. So the draw brush, let's go to the front view. And like I showed you, it's almost in the upper one third. Also, the top of the head is a bit squared off. So let's just use a move brush to square it off as well. Okay, not disturbing this angle, but this one, because this angle we already saw that it's slanted. So we need to have that slant. Okay, just squaring it off a bit from the top. Good. All right, good. Let's go to the front view, and the eyes. Yeah, they're almost in the upper 1/3, about here. We can also see this from the ears. It's almost in line with the ears. So let's make it in line with the ears about here. This is a bit too high, I think. Let's do it below. We can adjust the ears later. This is almost 1/3. Yeah, I'm just eyeballing this. You don't need to bring a ruler for this. Just eyeball it. It's absolutely fine, bro. Let's dig it like this as well. Let's dig it down and dig it away. Let's smoothen this area. Okay, now for the nose. The nose, I can see how much is this, bro. I mean, this is not even halfway. This is like 1/3. So if I draw it for you, I can draw it for you. Let's look at the eyebrow ridge from to the bottom of the chin. The nose is almost in the 1/4 of it. Okay, you can see this is almost 1/4. So from here to here, this is almost 1/4. I'll use the draw brush to push this in the area below this, and the draw brush as well to pull this out. Let's smooth in below this. The chin, I can see it's way up here. It's almost halfway between the nose and the chin. So if I draw it for you, you can see here. Let's draw a line here. Draw this down. Draw this down. It can be a bit distracting here. And right here is the center. So let's see. It's gonna be, here's the center. Just eyeballing this. Yeah, it's almost in the center. From the nose to the chin, almost center is the chin. Oh, from the nose to the chin, from the center, yeah, it's this bulge here, this dent here. So I'm just gonna dig this in from here, smooth it out, dig it in. Okay, just making this form here, indicating this form here. This looks all right. Also, we need to make the cheekbones. So the cheekbones are gonna be here. Just dig them out and dig a bit below them as well. And then gently smooth. Okay, good. I can also see that the eyes are a bit of an angry expression, so that is something we can do as well. Just move this down. Yeah, so far you see we haven't gone high poly at all. We're still pretty low poly, and this is how you want to sculpt always. Okay, if you go to high poly, you start adding details, it just takes more time to adjust those things, so you can avoid them in the first place like this. Let's even out this shape. I see some wobbliness in the jaw, which is always a bad thing. All right, good. Let's add more geometry because I think we are in the, yeah, so this is nice. Let's see, what else should we mark? We've already marked the nose. Let's mark the mouth area. So for the mouth, I like using the draw sharp brush. And I already showed you, it's almost halfway. The lower lip is almost halfway. So this is halfway. A bit above is the center. So let's dig this in. Just using the draw sharp brush, I'm going to dig this in and I'm going to curve this down because I can see it's almost like a frown. And yeah, using the move brush, I'm just going to mark the shape of the lip, upper lip. And move this down. I can see the lower lip. Let's just gently smooth this to even it out. In a way, shave it out, the lower lip, for the upper lip as well. And we can use the crease polish brush to make the center of the mouth. Okay, an important check mark to make from the side of the mouth is to see which of the lip is ahead. So on the side, I can see that the lower lip is ahead of the upper lip. So let's bring it out a bit. The upper lip is behind. Let's do that. From the side, we also want to see, okay, we see this area on the forehead right here. It's flat like this. And then the nose, it goes down. Okay, let's push this in because we can see the nostril is halfway inside the face. I can see the, so if this, you can see this is the line of the face and the nostril is almost halfway in. So we want to have that as well. I want to pull this area out because this is the nostril. You can see here, it's, of course, it's wide. We're just trying to get the shape by looking at the reference. Let's smooth this in the center. Okay, so far so good. I think the mouth can be a bit lower. This gap and this gap, it does not add up. I'm just gonna mask this area, invert this, go to the front view, and using a very big move brush, I'm just going to move this down a bit. The chin, I think, would be a bit longer as well. So let's just pull this down. You can see that I'm not, you can, of course, do proportion checks here. You can trace this if you want, but I'm just going to eyeball this. As long as I have something similar to the reference, I am happy. Just adjusting the shape of this. Perfect. Let's smooth this because this happened because of the mask that we did. That is fine. All right, so far so good. Let's save here. I saved here, so it doesn't crashes or something. And yeah, I think it now is time to go even higher poly. I'm going to go a bit more higher poly. And I'm going to make the eyes now. So for the eyes, what I like to do is I like to make sure that there's proper curvature here. In this case, there is not. So I'm going to push this area inside, push this area a bit outside. And I have a bit of a curvature. I'm going to use the draw brush to just roughly make the shape of the eyes. And then I'm going to smooth it out. This is just to see, judge. This is not fixed. And of course, we can see this fat area above the eye, which is very dense. So I'm going to have it like this. Just using the draw brush to have it. Also, you can see how much the eyebrow protrudes out. In our case, it doesn't. So from the bottom view, we're going to pull this out. Okay, so it protrudes in our sculpt as well. Let me get some water. Oh, does it go dry? Yeah, just observe the reference. Yep, much better. You can see the eyebrow really protrudes out. So I just, from the bottom view, what I did is I just pull out these corners to make it protrude a bit more. That is nice. Let's look at the eyes once again. So let's draw and smooth. Okay, and this looks good. I can get an idea for the eyes now, which is good. I can emphasize this area a bit more, this protrusion. Yeah, this looks fine. What I will do now is I will remesh this one so we have equal distribution of geometry. I can also see that this is pretty linear. In my case, it feels like this part is lower than this part is a bit raised. So I'm just going to bring this down a bit. And yeah, you can see it's very straight. This part of the eye is very straight. So I'm just straightening this. Previously it was a curve like this, so I'm just straightening it out. And yeah, let's remesh this so we have equal distribution of geometry. With the draw sharp brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the upper eyelid like this. And again, I'm going to just digging it in a bit. And with the draw sharp again, I'm going to pull out the lower eyelid. Okay, so this looks nice. This is a bit lower geometry. So, but this is all right. Let's come back to the eyes again because the eyes generally require a lot more geometry to be smooth. So let's just work on the other areas. Let's dig in the nostrils. Okay, and you can confirm the shape of the nostrils from the side view. We have the side view. You can see they're pretty weird, bro. Let's dig them in. Let's remesh. This looks all right. Just smooth this out. I cannot see a rim around the nose, so yeah, we'll do the same thing. We won't make a rim like this where it separates the mouth and the nose. We'll just make it flush because that is how it is in the reference. Yeah, let's move the nose up a bit because I can see this sharp line. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the crease brush, hold control and pull it out like this to have this sharp line. Again, this can be a bit wider because I can see it's the same length going down. It doesn't taper like it does in mine. Yeah, never shy away from adjusting things. Your sculpt will never be perfect, and art is the process of fixing your mistake. Nothing is perfect from the first time. You will make mistakes. And your art is just the process of fixing them as soon as you spot them. Okay, I'm just creasing this to have the shape of the nostril. And the nose looks fine. Let's work on the ears. So I'm just going to use a draw brush, smooth these things out. And the ear I can see. So let's just dig this in using the draw brush. Just make this cavity. Okay, I'm going to cut this here because I can see this cut here. Just remeshed for equal distribution of geometry. And yeah, the ears, these are the same as human ears. So just make any generic ear, but with the shape of this monster. That is fine. You can see the 9 pattern and the Y pattern, which I tell every time in all of the tutorials. You already know this because you've completed the 30-day challenge or you've been sculpting for a while. But still, let me still explain it for who is a Jedi and is watching this. So every ear is just going to be having this form, really simple form, which is the 9 shape and the Y shape on the inside and this cavity. Okay, so I'm just having this 9 shape here. In this, it's a bit stylized 9. And then I have to make the Y shape here and then I make this cavity. Okay, so I have the 9 shape now. For the Y shape, I'll just use the draw brush again and I'll pull this part out. this, and I will smooth it a bit. I can dig over here as well. Yeah, right here, I'll just make a dimple to indicate the Y shape. So you can see the Y shape. Let's merge it here, smooth it here. Just trying to follow the shape of the ear. It feels a bit more thinner here. You can adjust this with the inflate brush and pressing Control if you want to. But personally, I don't give too much attention to the ears. No one cares about the ears, bro. They just have to be generic and need to look like an ear. As long as they do that, it is fine. Yeah, I don't like this, so I'm just gonna bulk this area up. I'll use the draw sharp brush to cut it a bit finer. Let's remesh this. Smooth this. Just the Y shape here. Just trying to make a bit of a point here. Oh boy, let's smooth the back. All right, not bad. And yeah, you can see some asymmetry going on. This is very common. So just go here and press the symmetrize button, this one, and it copied the other side. So let's change the positive to negative and then symmetrize again. Now this is fine. Let's zoom out a bit. And yeah, let's crease the mouth again. Or let's not, because we still have to remesh. Let's just work on the eyes. So let's go a bit lower on the remesh value. Let's remesh. Yeah, we have this enough detail for the eyes now. So in the center, I'm just going to dig this in, and we're going to make the place for the eyeball, because yeah, when we have the eyeball in, it's much easier to get the shape of the lids. Just smoothing this, flattening this out a bit. Yeah, let's make the eyeball. So new mesh, UV sphere, right click, shade smooth. Let's go to the front view, scale this down and move it into place. On the side view, we want to have the eyes a bit above. And why did I make it a bit above? You can see it's not in the center of the hole. I made it a bit above, and I will tell you why after we wrap it around. So once we have the eyeball, just to wrap the eyelids around it and try to have equal thickness all around it. At the outer part, this one is a bit ahead. This one wraps around a bit more. Just wrap it around. Let's try to have a generic shape like the reference. It's a bit smaller. Okay, and I'm going to move it a bit more above as well, so that I can bring this close. The reason that I move the eyeball a bit above, so that the eye can have this natural angle where the upper eyelid is ahead of the lower eyelid, and you have this angle in the eye. This looks very pleasing. Good. Let's mirror it on the other side. So the eye, let's type mirror. Let's select the face. Yeah, already I can see that the eyes, they may be a bit too small in length. So I'm just going to make it a bit wider like this. Let's move the eyes here, scale them up. Just move them back accordingly. All right, good. Now, one thing that I noticed is that this face looks very angry, whereas ours looks like he's bored of the tutorial. Am I boring you? No, I'm not. I'm just explaining it so you don't waste more time. All right. Now this is a good point to start adding details. So let's just go to the crease brush. Let's crease the center of the mouth. Okay, just creasing the center of the mouth. You also can use this in inverse to sharpen the upper edges a bit. Let's smooth them a bit as well. Let's smooth this. Use the crease brush to tighten this a bit as well. Yeah, I really like to crease this area, especially the corners of the mouth. They should be creased. Let's see how wide the mouth comes in. So from the side view, and here I can see it almost lines up with the eye. Ours is a bit too behind. Let me draw it for you. So you can see the mouth here, draw a straight line up. It's almost in the center of the eye. In our case, it's beyond the eye. So I'm going to bring it a bit forwards towards the center of the eyes. Also adjust it accordingly here from the bottom view. Just making sure that it has proper curvature, but also that it does not exceed the eye. Okay, so this looks much better. For the chin, I can also see that we have a big dip here. And then the chin comes quite forward here and then straight down. In our case, it's curving behind. So I'm going to bring this part ahead like this. Okay, so these are some observations you should always make from the reference. All of the answers you ever need for your sculpt, they are always present in the reference. Just smoothing very gently on the model, very gently. Perfect. Let's look at the front view again and let's start adding some details. So first of all, let's make this cut for the expression. And also I want to lower this a bit, just so it's a bit more of a serious expression. You see this area here, all of this part, I want to make this by just smoothing in under this area. Just very gently smoothing it. What smoothing is doing is it's flattening this area. Okay, just smoothing it. Don't smooth on this line, just smooth around this line where we want the change to happen. All right, good. Let's also decrease this angle a bit, make it a bit more angry. Perfect. Let's use the draw sharp brush. Let's cut this here. Smooth this, cut this once again, smooth in between. Don't smooth on the line, bro, because it will undo the work that you've been doing. Also, I see this bulge here, so let's add this, smooth below this. You can use the draw brush to emphasize on this bulge a bit, like this, then smooth, gently. We're just emphasizing on this bulge a bit. Also, I can see these cuts here in the draw sharp brush. Let's carry this upwards, cut it like this, then just smooth. Okay, I'm just subtly adding things and then smoothing them. You can also use the clay strips brush to bulk up this area a bit more, and then of course smooth it out. Perfect. Let's use the draw sharp brush to cut in a bit like this and smooth. Okay, I want this to be like the reference here. It continues to the middle, so I'm just going to bulk up this area and then of course smooth it out once more. Okay, just use the clay strips brush to fill out any crevices or irregular shapes. All right, now what I want to do is I want to add this crease that goes all the way from the nose down to the mouth. So for that, I will use the crease brush. I think we can add a bit more clay here. See how bulked up this area is, but not in our sculpt. I want to move this up a bit as well. So you can see the top of the nostril is just a bit below the upper eyelid. So I'm going to move this up like this. Okay, nice. Now I want to use the clay strips brush to just bulk up this area. And then smooth. If you're too high poly, it's going to be very hard for you to smooth. So it would be a good idea to go down a bit on the poly count, use a higher remesh value, and then come back here once you're happy. Okay, let's use the crease brush and let's just crease it like this. And down here on the mouth area, like this. We're just using the crease brush to do this. Make sure you don't use a very big size on the crease brush because it destroys the shape of the model as well. Just use a small crease brush so that you can indicate this crease. And yeah, of course, smooth around these forms. That will even out the mesh for you. Okay? Smooth around it. Never on the line, but just around the line. Perfect. I can also see this cheekbone bulging out a bit. So what I can do is just use the draw brush. Just subtly bulge this out, smooth it out, and dig a bit below here. We're just emphasizing on this form and of course smoothing it out. Also, you can see this sharp line going here. We can subtly add this using the crease brush and just holding control and subtly pulling this out. Okay, and smoothing around it, not on it. Perfect. Just smoothing a bit around that line, very subtly. We also have another crease here. You can see here. We just use the crease brush and very subtly just make this round form that you can see in the reference and smooth around the forms that you just made. It doesn't need to be one-to-one, but as long as you're in the ballpark, it is fine. Let's smooth this. Just gently smoothing because I can see some lumps. Just gently smoothing these areas. Perfect. You can also use the inflate brush to just tighten up this a bit more. Just smoothing. Perfect. What else? Yeah, I think we're pretty much done actually. I think the form that we made here is a bit too exaggerated, so we can just gently smooth it out as well. I can see another crease going down here to the back of the face. So just using the crease brush once again, I'll extend this line back here. And then of course, smooth it a bit. Just smooth around the forms you just made. Yep, let's make the eyes now. So for the eyes, what I like to do is Alt Q. With Alt Q, you can easily switch between models. So instead of going back to object mode, selecting the face, going to sculpt mode, or going object mode, going to the eye, sculpt mode, what you can do is just press Alt Q to toggle. What I like to do for the eyes, what I'm noticing is that this upper eyelid is very thin, whereas it's very prominent in our sculpt. What you can do is you can mask this area like this. Just mask it. And then, oh, I press H accidentally. Just move the brow ridge down. This is something optional if you want to do. Previously it was fine as well, but if you want to be more accurate to the reference, this is better. Let's use the crease brush. Let me just smooth out these forms a bit. Just using the crease brush, I'm gonna make the separation once again. Okay, a very important thing you want to know about the upper eyelid is that it overlaps the lower eyelid. So you can see that is why I'm creasing a bit here as well. Smooth this part as well, just so that it's a bit more flat. I don't like the curvature going around here, so I'm just smoothing the bottom part to even it out. Perfect. So what I like to do for the eyes is I like to dig them in, because it just gives a much better shape when you're sculpting. Okay, realistically, you want to keep this round, or you want to have a bit of a, what do you call it, where's the inflow brush, you want to have a bit of a bulge like this for realistic eyes. But since this is a sculpt, what I want to do is I'm going to press Ctrl 4. This is going to add subdivision modifier with 4 divisions and apply this. So Control A to apply. Yeah, we had less geometry. Let me show you once again. This is how realistic eyes would be. They bulge out a bit. But when we're sculpting, what I like to do personally is I just like to dig them in a bit. So wherever the eye area is, I just like to dig in a bit like this. Okay, let's dig this in as well. The eyelid. This just makes the eye look much more alive. Even when you color the eyes, they just look much better because of the way how they catch the light and shadow. Okay, I'm gonna select this, take this in a bit more, and then smooth out the form a bit. And there you have it. Oh, we have to make the teeth. The teeth is really simple. Let's use the UV sphere. Get here, scale it down. Yeah, I think we can bring the lower lip a bit ahead as well. But yeah, let's scale this on the Z-axis. Scale it on the Y-axis down. Just roughly try to position this. You can use the snake hook. Oh yeah, you see I squished this and you can see how the brush looks very weird. What you want to do is press Ctrl A and apply all transforms. This way you have a better brush. Let's remesh this once. Perfect. Let's use the snake hook, snake hook, snake hook. Let's scroll a bit. Yeah, here's the snake hook. From the side view, what I want to do is I just want the teeth to curve a bit. Move it up. You can see that the lower lip is quite ahead in the reference. Or maybe we can just push the upper lip behind. Let's push this behind a bit. Let's make sure from the bottom view this has proper curvature. Now we can bring this behind. Let's remesh the teeth with a higher value. Let's leave this here. Object, set origin, surface. Whenever you apply the transforms, the pivot point is going to go back to the world origin. I just want to rotate it a bit like this. Let's look at it how it looks from the side view. So from the side view, it's almost here. And there's almost like this bulge as well. So let's use the draw brush to make this bulge here. Smooth it out. Let's dig in this part. I don't know, bro. Looks pretty weird. Sort of like it's overlapping this area, just bulking up this area. Let's dig this in a bit because I can see this line going around the lower lip. So just digging it a bit here. Very gently smoothing it out as well. Let's work on the teeth. How did I draw this? Where's the note? So this drawing. Where's the grab brush? Grab brush, grab brush. Here. From the third quarter, I can see that this is pretty smooth. Yeah, we can use the inflate brush to make it a bit more roundish. All right, let's mirror this like the eye. So you can either apply the mirror modifier here, or because we already have it on the eye, a shortcut is to select the teeth, shift select the eyes, control L, copy modifiers. There we have it. Yeah, I want to adjust this a bit, make it a bit more even in the center. Let's use the grease polish to just grease this one last time. Perfect. I can also grease a bit here because I can see this bulge here. Just grease this, smooth around it, never on it. Yeah, and there we Oh my god, I'm just being a perfectionist at this point. Let's just clear strips like this and then smooth. Smoothing these lumps. And there we have it. Let's turn on shadows. Yep, there it is. Our stylized orc. Good. What you can do as well is you can take the paintbrush, make this pupil black. You can look at this orc, color pick this, just use a darker hue, a bit darker. Just use it on this area right here, a bit on the lower eyes, a bit of the mouth, just to have a better contrast. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Let me just quickly use the pinch brush because I feel like his lips are a bit bigger than what I would like them to be. Where's the pinch brush? Pinch brush, pinch brush, pinch here. Just making them a tad bit smaller. Smoothing out the forms. A bit of the lumps here and there. Yep, there you have it. Our stylized orc. You can just make some final adjustments here. What I like to do usually is I just close the file, I do something else, and then I revisit this in a later time. that time I have more fresh eyes and I make some adjustments there. But for 50 minutes, I think this is pretty good. Of course, if it's a final project, you always want to spend more time. But if it's for practice, I think this is a result good enough for now. Yeah, it is pretty similar to the reference as well. So I'll just stop it. Oh yeah, I can see this dip here. Just using the draw brush. Where's the draw brush, bro? Just digging a bit here. And then smoothing this out. Yep, good. Okay, so these are some things. And maybe some other things that I cannot see right now. But so far with this, I am super happy. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe and let me know how you find this tutorial. Here's a fist bump. Goodbye.